All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
It's great to be here.
Glad to have you. So today we're presented by Safety One Source.
Yeah, always a good thing, safety.
Absolutely. And we're going to be talking about something that, maybe doesn't get as much attention as it should.
Right.
And that is refueling.
Uh-huh.
So we're talking about, crane operators, those who are training to be crane operators, and those who are recertifying and refueling is such a key part of the job.
It really is. I mean, it seems basic, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't do it right, you can have some really serious consequences.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to, emphasize the importance of doing it by the book every single time.
Absolutely.
So we're looking at section 5.3.4.9 of our source material here.
Okay.
And it talks about refueling. And right off the bat, it says you need a safety type can for gasoline. And I've got to be honest with you.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I've just grabbed whatever's, laying around.
Yeah.
What's the big deal about a safety type can?
Well, they're designed specifically to prevent fires and explosions. So a regular gas can, if you have a stray spark or an ember, anything lands near the opening could cause a huge problem.
Yeah.
But a safety type can has this thing called a flame arrestor.
Okay.
And that's basically like a fine mesh screen that absorbs heat and stops any external flame from getting inside and igniting the fuel vapor.
So it's like a barrier.
Yeah, exactly. And then they also have automatic closing caps that help to minimize spills and vapor release.
So that's important because those vapors can ignite.
Oh, yeah, really easily. And, on a job site, there's so much going on, so many potential sources of ignition.
I've seen a lot of spills, just in my experience on job sites. And
Sure.
I never even really thought about like static electricity and things like that.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. And, sparks from welding,
Right.
electrical equipment, even just friction from moving parts, all of that can create a spark.
And then boom.
Exactly. So a safety type can is really designed to mitigate those risks.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then rule B says no refueling with the engine running.
Right.
Now, I'll admit I've done that in a rush before.
Sure, we've all been there.
But what's the real danger there? Why is that so important?
Well, you got to remember, a running engine is hot, and heat plus fuel vapor equals big problem.
Yeah.
And even a well-maintained engine could produce sparks.
Oh, wow.
And gasoline vapor is incredibly flammable. It takes very little to set it off.
So it's really not just about me, the operator. It's about everybody on the site.
Exactly. You have a responsibility to keep everyone around you safe.
Wow. I never thought of it like that.
That's why these rules are so important. They might seem basic, but they can really make the difference.
Absolutely. And then there's rule C, which again kind of seems obvious. No smoking or open flames while you're refueling. Yeah. But what I'm curious about is what exactly defines that refueling area?
Yeah.
Is it just right next to the crane, or is it a wider zone?
It's definitely wider than you might think, because you got to consider wind can carry those flammable vapors.
For sure.
A lot further than you'd expect. And if there's a spill, that obviously expands the danger zone even more.
So how do you actually enforce that, no smoking rule, especially if other workers maybe aren't as aware?
Well, I think the key is communication.
Yeah.
You got to clearly mark that refueling area.
Okay.
Let everybody know where the boundaries are and be prepared to, politely but firmly enforce it.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, you could prevent a serious accident by just speaking up.
It's about creating that culture of safety.
Absolutely. It's everybody's responsibility.
Well, big thanks to Safety One Source for, bringing these important refueling tips to light.
Yeah. Great information.
And for everyone listening out there, I think this is a good challenge.
Uh-huh.
Take a look at your typical refueling setup and ask yourself, are there any ways, even small ways, that I could improve safety based on what we've talked about today?
Yeah, sometimes the smallest changes make the biggest difference.
Exactly. And remember, complacency. That's what you want to fight against.
Right.
So even when you're done for the day, that journey of becoming a safer, more skilled operator, it never really ends.
That's so true.
So stay safe out there, keep those cranes running smoothly and responsibly, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.